Pep Guardiola, Sergio Busquets, N'Golo Kante, Claude Makelele. What are all of these midfielders, people? Defensive midfielders. Well, it's time for me to get an extra lesson as to why defensive midfield is the most important position on the football field.
Extra lesson.
Alright, people, as we know, there are so many different types of midfielders, so many different types of players, but midfielders, the most important player is a defensive midfielder. I know, to simplify it, I'm going to break it up into two different types of defensive midfielders. Break it up into the destroyer type and then the ball playing type. We'll first talk about the destroying type. Now, these destroyers are not only charged with, breaking up play, and just keeping the ball moving for more expansive teams. When you talk about defensive midfielders, you talk about Claude Makelele. You talk about his reincarnation, the better version of him in N'Golo Kante. All of these, the Fernandinos of the world. All of these players break up play, just keep the ball moving. Kante has more of a progressive role, but I'll talk about that later. These destroyer types, they're also charged with leading the press in nowadays football. I'll also get onto that at a later date, but they're most important because they set the tone for a team. When a player goes and puts in a tackle, keeps the ball moving, that just shows the type of team which, the team is. Like, there's no City team without Fernandinho. They're not going to be as dominant without Fernandinho. There's no Leicester, there's no Chelsea without Kante. Original Mourinho Chelsea, there's no that Chelsea without Makelele. These players are integral to their teams. Yes, Frank Lampard is going to get all the plaudits from that midfield. Yes, Fabregas got his 18 assists in that midfield. At the end of the day, Kante and Makelele respectively are the important parts of that midfield. But I don't want to say that to disregard the importance of ball-playing midfielders in those teams. Because when you talk about ball-playing midfield,
ball-playing midfielders.
What?
This is not your approach. It's the ball and gas thing. Leave it to the experts.
So people, I just like a small demonstration. Bobby wanted to see some ball-playing midfielders. And as I said, there's only one real ball on the OTB show, A little ping, a little something, nothing serious, regular we do it. So out there on the field, we have the ball. Just gonna show them little skills and little tricks. Show them who the real baller is. One little OTB, no joke.
As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. There's also ball-playing midfielders. These midfielders such as the originators, such as Pep Guardiola. You can even go back to Neeskens from the original Cruyffian Netherlands team. Guardiola, you move up, you have players like Xabi Alonso, you have players like Pirlo, Scholes, the list goes on. These midfielders not only set the tempo, they create the tempo. These midfielders will play long passes, short passes to keep their team moving, but they don't shirk their defensive responsibilities because they're also very strong in a tackle and they also, keep the team level. Nowadays, you have a hybrid of these midfielders. The first thing that springs to mind would be a Joshua Kimmich. Now, if you think about the Liverpool team, which nearly won the league in what would be around the late 2000s, you think about Steven Gerrard playing a central attacking midfield in behind Fernando Torres, being as versatile as he is. But then you also have to take in consideration that he could only do that because behind him he had Mascherano and Xabi Alonso. Mascherano being the destroyer, Xabi Alonso being the ball player. Now this was often essential in these two-man midfields, and nowadays teams want their defensive midfielders to be both. First that comes to mind would be a player like Joshua Kimmich, easily a top 5 defensive midfielder in the world. And that just goes to show how football is, evolving. And it just goes to show that Joshua Kimmich, I'm not going to say he's an unsung hero, but Joshua Kimmich is easily, if it wasn't for Lewandowski's goals, Muller's assists, Joshua Kimmich would easily be regarded as the best player in that Bayern team, as he should be. But that just goes to show that defensive midfield is not only a very underrated position, it goes to show that defensive midfield is the most important position also, because without these players, teams would not be able to do what they do. So, people, I just want to thank you for the support, thank the sponsors, 9B Transfer Distributors. And next episode, I'm going to be talking about pressing.